Hi, overcomers. Deidre again. Good to see you guys, I guess. Hope everybody is doing well. We have Kolton with us today. Yay, Kolton.
Guys,
Um, he's got a little special message for you, and he's going to show you some cool things that him and the guys at the house have been doing. So take it away, Kolton.
okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm really excited that you're tuning in here. Hello, Casey. Really excited that you're tuning in here because we've got some exciting things going on at our place. So one thing I've been thinking about is during all this virus craziness, a big question that you have to ask yourself is when things get hard or things get weird, or you're just, have unusual circumstances, what are you going to do to make the best of those? Because you're really just presented with a couple options as far as how you react, right? Now, this has affected some people a lot more than others. So if it's affected you a lot personally or someone you know, maybe you're afraid for someone that you know, I totally understand. It's a time to, honestly, it's okay to be a little sad and a little anxious. And I totally get that. Some people, it may not have affected as much yet. Honestly, I'm thankful to be in a circumstance where I'm kind of safe from things for now. And all my family members are healthy, which is nice. But for me, I'm asking myself in this time, when I look back on this 5 years from now, what will I be able to tell people that I did with the time? If someone asked me, what did you do during that crazy thing? Well, I'd like to tell them that, I did something that was proactive, and I kind of took advantage a little bit to do something positive of the situation. Or maybe even I think forward to like my kids or my grandkids someday. What would I tell them? Remember that crazy coronavirus? But anyway, I need to work on my old man voice. But anyway, yeah, I just want to be able to tell them, I did something neat and special with that time. And so I'm here to encourage you guys today to do something like that. And I want to show you what we've been working on over at my place. So what we've been doing with the time is we've decided to get into gardening. And I don't know how many of you guys know anything about gardening. I honestly didn't know very much at all. This is pretty new for me. But I have a little experience in the past, but I've never had just like this huge successful garden before, to be honest. But I decided to be brave and to be a little ambitious, and I decided to use a lot of the downtime that we have to work on a pretty ambitious garden plan. So I wanted to grow enough crops that we could like pretty substantially eat from the garden, over the period of a month or two. And so we're estimating around 80 to 100 different plants. And so
Whoa.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of plants. And so if you're watching this, hopefully you will get to taste some of our garden vegetables at some point. We might bring some up to immerse, to share. I think that's the fun part about it, is it's a perfect opportunity to also put some hard work into something and share it with other people. Now, don't get greedy if you're listening to this. Don't think that, if you want to garden a little bit once this virus stuff is over, we could probably use some help. I really would love, once things go a little safer, if you're interested in gardening, I'd really like for some people to come over and help us out. But anyway, before I talk too much, let me show you some things that we're doing here. So here is, let me know if you can see.
Wow.
Yeah, those are some tomato plants that we got from the nursery. They're a little bigger, right? They're already started for us. Here are some seedlings that we actually started from tiny little seeds. I mean, seeds that fit in the palm of your hand. We put them in this tray, and then we watered those little pods, and then they grew. Now that they've grown a few inches tall, we're going to replant them into soil. We're going to take those little pods and plant them into the garden. So as you can see, those are a lot of plants right there. When all those are full grown, it's going to take a lot of space it's going to take a lot of ground to put them in. So we've dug up quite a bit of ground. So we're doing something called raised garden beds. You've probably seen those before. You might even have had some where you grew up. So a raised garden bed, I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm walking out into the yard here. Here on my way down, we've got more stuff on the porch. It's all out getting sunlight, so you can see we went kind of crazy. We got strawberries, we've got tomatoes, we've got cucumbers. I'm hoping to grow watermelon. Everybody loves watermelon in the summer, and it's Arkansas. Gotta grow watermelon in Arkansas. So here's what a raised bed looks like. Can you see that pretty well, Deidre?
Yes, it looks amazing.
Yeah. So that one was actually already here at the house, and that's kind of what kickstarted. It's kind of helped kickstart all the ideas to do more. But my style is I'm like, hey, if we're gonna do this, let's do this big. So the lovely Sarah is over here. Everyone say hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Sarah and I are digging up a new one. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's
So we went,
amazing.
yeah, so we got it approved. Actually, last year I asked if we could dig this up, and the landlord said yes. So we got it approved, and then I went to Home Depot and I got some lumber, some wood that we can use to edge around the garden bed and build the raised bed with. And we actually got some special potting soil donated. It's over there, and I borrowed a truck too, so you can see a lot of people are helping donate and let us borrow things. It's a very collaborative effort and project. But this truck over here I borrowed is actually from Dr. David Neal. A lot of you guys know him.
Shout
This is
out.
an old
We love you, David.
shout out to David and his old beat up junker truck that I've been driving around to stick shift. So I'm like jerking around on the highway trying to get there. Now I know how to drive a shift, but anyway, this soil in the back of the truck, it looks like normal soil, but it's actually a special potting soil. It's a mixed soil that has nutrients in it, so that when we plant the vegetables, the vegetables are going to draw from the nutrients of that soil. So it's not just any soil. If you just dug up the ground like right here, that soil wouldn't have as many nutrients as the ones that we went and picked up. And what does that do? Do we absolutely need it? Not really, but it's going to help make the plants grow faster and bigger and give us more vegetables, which is what we want. So getting a truckload of that stuff, costs $30 or so. And so we're really thankful to some people that have helped donate to help our garden. I've got one more thing that's going to be kind of interesting to you guys. Deidre, do you know what this is? Can you tell me what that is right there?
Leaves?
Look a little closer.
Sticks? Paper?
There is all of those things in there.
Trash.
What is it? What is that?
Compost.
It's a compost pile.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding. If this was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, though, you would have lost.
Well, I don't want to be a millionaire.
Oh, perfect. That's the next. You can give us the next lesson about why being a millionaire isn't the only dream you should have. So anyway, yes, we're just humble gardeners in this episode. We're not trying to be millionaires. So that was a compost pile. So the interesting thing about compost, and you might not have ever heard of a compost pile, it's really fascinating, just interesting concept. So I'm actually saving, whenever I chop up vegetables to cook with, it could be some bell peppers or onions. You have little pieces of them that you don't actually eat. You just cut away, and typically you throw it in the trash. Same thing with banana peels, or how about coffee grounds? I mean, everyone makes coffee grounds, has coffee grounds left over after they make some coffee. And so I save that and actually dump it all in that pile. And because it's natural and organic matter, it's going to, if I mix it together with some leaves and some sticks, actually all of that together, there's a natural process that breaks it all down, and it turns it back into like this sort of the soil, kind of loose soil. And it honestly, what's crazy is it doesn't smell bad. It's like dirt again, but it has all the nutrition from the vegetables and the fruits in it. And then we're going to put that back into our garden, and then that's going to help our plants grow better. So here's what's funny to think about is the fact that some coffee I drank like 3 months ago is going to somehow, I'm going to be eating a vegetable that extracted nutrients from the coffee that I drank like 3 months ago. Isn't that kind of weird to think about?
Yeah.
It's wild.
Awesome.
Nature is wild. No, but honestly, that's just kind of a little sneak peek about what's going on. So yeah, those 2 raised beds that I showed you guys, when those are all full of vegetables, and we're gonna have a little bit more in the back is where I'm hoping to grow some watermelons. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of work. And one reason why I did this was in good faith that eventually, when the virus stuff settles down, some people would come help us. Not only would they want to come out and see it and learn a thing or two about gardening and stuff, but some people would actually help us with some of the work, and as a reward, get to pick a few fruits and vegetables. So you get to learn, you get to work a little bit, you get to pick some healthy fruits and vegetables, and I'm hoping they're going to taste a lot better than what you could just go buy at the store, right? But yeah, and you know why I chose to do this with the time. Well, one is it is something you kind of have to slow down for when you know, planting seeds, taking care of plants. You think of the lifestyle of a farmer, you know, they tend to it's hard work for sure, but also something about it just takes a little bit more time and a little bit more patience. And I thought that this was a good time to do it, you know, when we just had time to work in the yard, and you know, we're not able to leave and go many places, but we can be out working on this. But even more important, you know, I chose to do this because I think it's well, I love being just outside in general, right? It's just, especially this time of year, the spring, it's warming up. It's just so nice to be outside. It change of pace from the winter months when it's colder and we tend to spend more time out indoors and the days are shorter. Now the days are getting longer and it just feels good out here. And the smell of the garden and the you know, the plants that we're planting and the fresh soil and stuff might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I really like it. And you know, it also just says a lot to God's design. You know, the process, the fact that a plant can grow from a tiny little seed into something that, you know, bears just a ton of fruit that you can eat later on in the summer. Just watching something grow and taking care of it like that, there's really not many other experiences you can have like that, maybe other than having a child, right? As far as like caring for something that starts out so small and then ends up getting bigger, that you have to watch over. And I just think it's a really cool little journey that you take when you do gardening. And it's really rewarding because at the end, it just provides nutrition for you. And it's, once again, it's something you can share with other people. And it takes a team effort, right, to build it along the way. And I think that's a lot of, it just kind of resembles faith in God. You know, in the Bible, there are a lot of stories about gardening and you know, sowing seeds. And so I just think that there's a reason for that. I think that there's a lot of spiritual metaphors and analogies to take away from that, you know. Well, I guess one that comes to mind before I turn this into a whole sermon, I'm just going to be, so keep it short, guys, I promise. I think about, right, this one you might have heard of before is the parable of the sower, right, where Jesus says the word of God is like throwing seeds and onto different soils, and you throw some seeds onto a rocky soil or a thorny soil, or a soil that has some thorns with it, and those ones don't grow well, because guess what, gardening takes care. You have to be careful, and the plants can be delicate, so you know, the point of that story is you have to plant your seeds on the soil that's right. It's got to be good soil, kind of like I showed you. Went and picked up some soil that had more nutrition in it, and those plants are going to grow because we're going to protect them and we chose the right soil. Well, your lives are a lot like that, you know, guys. Like your lives can be delicate sometimes, in the sense that if you make a bad decision or two, and they're really bad decisions, you're not going to grow. It's going to stop your growth, and it's going to put you behind for a while. And I think we've all experienced that from time to time. But when we're being careful to make the right decisions and making sure that our hearts and our lives are like that good soil, we're gonna grow fruit from that in our lives, and it's gonna be a beautiful, healthy thing. So yeah, guys, here's to making good decisions and gardening in 2020. So that's my little inspirational message for you all.
Yay. I can't wait to come visit your garden and see it when everything's bloomed. I know we already talked about making salsa because you have all the ingredients to make.
We're gonna have tomatoes. We're hopefully gonna have jalapeno peppers.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's so cool. Very impressive. Well, thanks, Kolton. Appreciate your time. We'll let you get back to your garden.
Yeah, I actually do have to get back to work now. So,
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
Thanks. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, guys. Everyone take care.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.